content presented is for entertainment purposes only. Some content may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Periodic Review. We are streaming live every Thursday night. That's a very strange sound.
Sipping tea out of my bottle.
Sipping on gin and juice, laid back with my mind and my money and my money and my mind. Some Snoop Dogg for you. So yeah, we're streaming live every Thursday now at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. Central. Excuse me, I did that twice already. Wow, twice in one day. That's bad.
It's hard, I know.
It's difficult. It's difficult to know and understand these time changes and time zones and such. It's redonkulous. But anyways, we're happy to be here. Hope you all are happy to be here. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. Because we're all trying to figure out how to be better human beings today than we were yesterday. So today on the podcast, we're going to talk a little bit about SpaceX.
Astronauts?
And space and such.
Space?
Yes.
When I was a little kid, I used to want to be an astronaut.
Really?
Yeah. You know what's crazy is now one of the things that I'm studying in school is aviation. So I'm like, close enough.
Full circle a little bit, kind of?
I don't know.
Coincidence?
I don't think I could ever be an astronaut just because, like...
Why not?
Okay, so the amount of, like... Just the amount of years that it takes, and I don't have the patience.
And the math. Probably a lot of math.
Okay, so you have to get a master's. So first of all, you have to get a master's in a STEM program. STEM meaning, like, one of the sciences.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, STEM? What's
STEM meaning, like... science, tech, engineering, math. I think that's.
Okay.
I think that's what it stands for. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you know.
You're wrong. Just kidding.
So, like, yeah, you have to get a master's in one of those programs. You also have to get like some form of, like, you do have to like have your pilot's license. Obviously, fair enough.
Space camp? Is that a requirement? Space camp?
I don't know. I probably look good on the resume though. But
I love it.
You also need, like, I don't know if you need this, but I know, like, they are more likely to accept people that have served time in the military.
Okay.
And not only that, but, like, you have to be accepted into the astronaut program where you become a candidate. And
so you go through a rigorous testing and recruiting process.
And even then, after the years of commitment and training and
they'll pick one
certificates,
astronaut.
Like, you may not even get picked. Yeah. So it's like, I don't like those odds. I'm just one guy. So.
Well, you could work in Houston and be like, Houston, we have a problem. Be one of those guys.
Houston?
I'm sounding very ignorant.
We got a problem.
Houston, we're gonna do an unscheduled spacewalk. Come back. Why are you doing an unscheduled spacewalk?
Okay, but like whenever NASA,
the pooper just malfunctioned, and we are going outside. Anyway, so just as of recently of this year, there's been a lot of billionaires they're just started all of a sudden this space race.
I thought you were going to end that sentence right there. Like, so since this year, there have been a lot of billionaires.
Just matter of fact.
Sorry.
That would have been really funny if I did that now.
Go on.
That's
continue.
A good idea. I like it. So let's see. We got Mr. Bronston did like what, 40 some odd miles up into the stratosphere.
Good for him.
Then we had Papa Bezos from Amazon. He did like 50 some odd miles.
Good for him.
And then we got Elon Musk with SpaceX.
Of course he did.
Let's see. So what has he done so far? So
I'm going to be honest.
They finally got a reusable like fuel thing to actually go up, do its job, and then land.
So I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't know who any of those guys are.
You don't know who Elon Musk is?
Hell no.
He's the guy who...
I don't pay attention to that shit.
He's a engineer slash like billionaire guy.
Good for him.
Tesla.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't pay attention to all the rich people. I just don't.
Well, it's been kind of an interesting like couple of years with all this stuff happening. But the Elon Musk and his SpaceX program, they're actually the first ones to be able to go up the highest with a private owned company out into technically space, like outside our atmosphere and stuff. And then let's see, he brought two professional astronauts up to the space station and back.
Okay.
With their reusable fuselage, which is something that they've been really trying hard to do, and they've had, I think it was like 4 or 6 years they've been working on having a reusable fuselage and everything, so that they didn't have to keep blowing stuff up and try to keep costs down, and they actually figured it out. What's really cool about that rocket is that when it's coming down and it's ready to land, it pivots like you know how like a rocket goes up? Well, it's coming straight down, and then before it lands, it uses its thrusters to turn around, and the thruster like brings it back down nice and easy. Like
very innovative.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool technology and stuff that they're doing. So the Inspiration 4 actually just launched yesterday, which is really interesting. Wednesday, September 14th. 15th? 15th.
I feel like I would have seen something.
Today's 16th. So it was yesterday that they launched.
Yeah, I feel like I would have seen something on my social media just because I follow a lot of space stuff, so it's like I see a lot of updates. I did not see that, though.
You did not see that?
No, I didn't.
So the only reason that I know about it is because I saw a series pop up on Netflix, and it's basically a documentary of them like training these individuals and get them ready to go into space and actually do a 3-day orbit around the Earth for 3 days.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which is actually pretty interesting.
I'll have to check that out. That's on Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Documentary.
Documentary.
My goodness. A documentary made by Netflix?
Yes. It's produced by Netflix.
Thank you.
It kind of feels like it's a love story to Elon Musk and SpaceX a little bit, but because it has like Teslas and...
Okay, so you've seen it?
I've seen parts of it.
Okay.
I think I've seen like the first couple of episodes. So they've actually done the candidate process. I'm going to go ahead and pull out my phone really quick so I can tell you the actual individuals that are going up. But yeah, I guess it was they were supposed to go up in April, but they postponed it, I guess, until yesterday. And one of them is a billionaire as well. That's the pilot. He's a billionaire, apparently.
Hence why I kind of want to be a pilot, because I could be a billionaire.
Well, I think he was a billionaire. I think he created some kind of payment app or something like that, kind of like a PayPal or a Cash App or something like that, like before those were like big.
Like before Venmo was a thing?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Something like that. Some kind of third-party billing process. And he mostly worked with businesses. So let's see. Cyan Proctor, Haley Arkin. I probably butchered that. My bad.
Is that a
Chris
name?
Browski and Mission Commander Jared Isaacman, the billionaire who paid for the first private funded trip to orbit. So he's the one that's paying their way to do this. And what was really interesting is that they didn't try to get 4 like people that would be like are astronauts or like trained and everything. So the billionaire guy, he basically has been a pilot for many years, and he basically has graduated from like, you know, like ultralights to Cessnas to 737s to like jets. Like he's flown pretty much everything. So he's like he's a very seasoned pilot.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. And Saya, she's also a pilot, I think, from like the military branch. I can't remember which one. So she's kind of like the secondary person in case like he's incapacitated for whatever reason during, you know, the mission.
Yeah.
And then they have 2 other people. So one guy, it basically was like a lottery raffle for anybody who put their name in and donated to St. Jude's, and he was picked. So he's just like a regular civilian. I think he's like a like some kind of programming engineer or something like that. And then the other girl, who's actually going to be technically the youngest astronaut or the youngest female in space, she is a survivor of cancer. Okay. And she also worked at St. Jude's. And so they're kind of having this thing where, you know, if you donated money, then you got a spot. And so that was like the 4th spot. And that guy ended up, I think that's Mama. Go get him, doggies. Go get her.
We can literally hear the door unlocking from our headphones.
Yeah. So this docuseries basically follows these individuals and all the things that they're going through and like with their families and stuff like that, working onto this into this mission. But what's really interesting is that they're only going to orbit for 3 days around the Earth. So, I mean, it is definitely another feat for SpaceX and a privately owned company to do all of these very extravagant things with space. I mean, what was the last time we were like, you know, really pushing to like do more space stuff? It was back in the 60s, right?
Yeah, I mean, like most of what we've been doing. Yeah, most of what we've been doing now is just like spacewalks, as in like
satellites.
Just doing construction work on satellites. Yeah, which I mean, granted, like watching that kind of stuff, I find like really cool to watch. Like, who doesn't want to watch a GoPro in space? like, come on, man.
Who doesn't want to see the curvature of the Earth and go, suck it, you flat earthers? I'm just kidding. We love you, flat earthers. We're not worried about you.
I don't know. I met a flat earther once, and I did not really like her that much. If you're watching this, you know who you are. I'm sorry, but I mean, like...
But we love you just the same, because you're part
of
the human race, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, I can't say kind of. When you say it like that, like, yeah, I have to... The follower of the Dalai Lama, he says, like, yeah, you have to love him. Doesn't...
But at that same time, if you believe that, that's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird, but it's okay. I mean, some people can say that about people who, you know, believe in God or believe in ghosts or believe in aliens. Although it's interesting that we're rolling all those together. Or believe in energy, and you can make balls of energy, and you can,
or you have a belief,
incapacitate people like Dragon Ball Z.
Or you have a belief that the planets being aligned in some way, shape, or form have an effect on your life, and which, I mean, maybe it does. I don't know.
Or astrological formations in the stars with horoscopes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you people are weird, but we still love you. Anyway, so it's a pretty big feat for you know, the civilian space of these billionaires, like basically having this new space race, which is very interesting. I wonder how many hoops they have to jump through with the government to get all of the, I don't know if they have to have permits or if they have to have, like, you know, special permission to be like, hey, we're going to shoot our rocket up into the sky and we're just going to kind of, you know, take a couple laps around the Earth and then we're going to come back down.
That sounds like fun, though.
It really does.
Like, I would love to go up into space and take a couple laps around the Earth. That would be amazing.
That'd be really cool.
Elon Musk, hook me up. No, just kidding.
But let's go, Elon Musk, my boy. Give me a spot in the next one. So I think the one after this one, I think they're gonna send another like full astronaut crew from they're gonna go to the space station or something. I guess like Elon Musk is now the taxi for for the government to send astronauts and up and down and send like supplies up and down to the space station. He's the Uber. He's the space Uber for the government right now.
You're going up. You're going up to the satellite. All right, gotcha. Get on in. You got your seatbelts on?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah, Elon. Yeah, Elon. We're gonna send some more guys up into the sky. That almost sounded like Bush.
And we really are using the accents and stereotypes.
I was trying to do Biden, but that sounded more like Bush. I don't know. But it's really interesting. I really hope that they get to the point where they do allow them to like go to the moon, and it's like the moon's like all privatized, and then like they actually get to the point, because like Elon Musk, his goal is actually to get to Mars and back. Hi, sweetie. Welcome
Hey, girl.
home.
Hey.
You like my new belt? Oops, don't do that.
Okay. I really wish we had a camera on right now. My wife is wearing a hula hoop of some sort with a...
Do we not have video?
No, we don't have video.
That's a bummer. I was going to show off my new toy.
It's basically like Skip It, but on a hula hoop for all those that were...
He's talking about it.
She's still trying to figure it out.
Come on. I'm going to go upstairs and do homework. Love you.
All right. Go do your math. Love you. All right, we'll talk to you in a bit. So those of you that didn't know, my wife had bunco tonight, so she's just getting back, and
What's bunco?
it's some kind of like card game, I believe.
Gotcha.
You have to have like 6 or 8 players, something like that. It's like a really big like group game.
I'm more of a Crazy Eights kind of guy.
Yeah. I personally like Pinochle, but we have a lot of different like family rules.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because I like when I was really big and into it and I was growing up, I was just like, hey friends, like let's play Pinochle. And they're like, double deck Pinochle? And I'm like, is there such a thing? And like the rules were all different, and you're just like, ugh. Because everybody seems to have like their own rules like growing up. So
just like Uno, like do you guys play where like you can stack on draw 4 or draw 2? Do you play where like you have to keep drawing until you get the card that's of the color that's actually down?
Right.
Like,
Or you do what's called double down. So like if somebody has a yellow 6, if you have a 6 even from any color, you can put it on top of it.
Yeah, well there's that too.
There's that. There's also some rules like instead of reversing, like as far as like you just change the direction of the play, you actually swap hands. So yeah, what's really interesting is that, you know, a lot of these games, like a lot of the families like come up with their own rules after a while, after playing it for so long and getting bored.
Well, let's get back to space stuff.
Oh, that's okay. I can talk about whatever all day long. All day, son. So we're apparently doing this really interesting like privatized space race right now, which is really fascinating. And it's being spearheaded by all these billionaires. So I guess, you know, when you've done everything, you've bought everything that you could possibly buy, instead of helping the world out with, I don't know, hunger. I don't know. Maybe making vehicles that don't fall apart. I don't know. Make technology that, I don't know, like hard drives last longer than 5 years. I don't know. There's so many different things I could do with hundreds of billions of dollars. I just wouldn't immediately go, I want to go to Mars. That's what I'm going to do with my hundreds of billions of dollars.
Honestly, like it makes sense to say, like, if you have that kind of money, and it's like, you know what I could do with this? Like, you literally have all the money in the
buy
world.
A spaceship.
You literally have so much money that you don't know what to do with. Like, that's like a perfect place to put it, is put it towards space.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of technological advancements that are going on. I mean, the Falcon 9, I think, which is this current rendition, it's basically all automated. So as long as everything goes correctly and the computers do exactly what they're supposed to do with the software and the calculations and everything. They basically don't have to touch anything. They just basically have a ride up in space and they come back down. So basically, the pilots are only there in case something goes wrong. They can actually manually take over and they can fly things.
Gotcha.
But apparently this current spaceship, I guess you can call it, space rocket, it's all automated. So they're just going to go fly up. They're going to dismantle. They're going to separate from the fuselage, do their 3-day laps, reconnect the fuselage, and then come back down.
Nice. I can get behind that, actually.
If that comes out like perfect, like that's like another feather in Elon Musk's cap. SpaceX is the best. Have you ever? I guess you don't. If you don't know Elon Musk, you probably haven't seen any interviews with him. But
no,
he's kind of an odd duck, and I think most really smart people are kind of odd. But like when he's having an interview, he has long pauses before he answers. Like he really thinks about.
Has to process.
He has to like. It's like the Beautiful Mind happening. Like all of these like equations and start popping up, and then he answers very simply. No, but he's. I've seen him a couple of times on the Joe Rogan podcast and in other interviews, like on different news networks, and yeah, he's actually really interesting to listen to. And you know what his plans are for like technology and what he wants to do in the future is really spectacular. It's going to really, I think, push us a lot farther and a lot faster than like waiting for, you know, whatever other people to like figure it out. He's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna send people to Mars to colonize. Okay. But I think it's pretty interesting. If you could have hundreds of billions of dollars, like what would you do with it?
If I had hundreds of billions of dollars?
You probably wouldn't be doing this podcast.
No, I'd make sure that we have the right equipment that we need so that, or not that this equipment's not great or anything. What I'm saying is I would make sure that we have all the resources we need so that way this podcast was all that I had to do with my life.
Yeah, that'd be pretty baller.
If I had $100 billion, I'd probably give a significant amount of that to my parents and my sister and her husband. Honestly, I'd probably get like a decent sized house, move into that, and a good car and a van to
probably
deck
a lot
out.
of dope, a lot of blow. No,
just get out of here.
Just live the rock star life. No, just kidding. That's
I'd probably get so much artist equipment. I'd get like all the spray paint I need. I'd get all like the guitars and like drum kits that I need. I'd get a soundproof room.
A couple $1 million studio.
Yeah, no, I'd get like, I don't know. I would just want to make sure that I'd never have to pay bills again. and if I did, I'd be like, the next bill's here. Okay, got it.
Hey, Verizon, how much would it cost for me to pay my bill for the rest of my life? Here's a check. No, like
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of what
I would
I could do.
I would definitely put away a lot of that money for like my kids' schooling.
Yeah.
Like make sure that they got the best education they got. If I had a wife, spoil my wife.
Yeah, absolutely. Travel a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I would definitely take advantages. Go to Greece, go to Australia, go to New Zealand,
Europe, Scotland,
Norway,
Ireland,
Iceland.
Yeah. Australia. I don't know. Australia's kind of...
I mean, space.
Shit's kind of going down in Australia right now with their, like... They have, like, the harshest lockdowns and COVID laws right now that are being enforced in the world.
Yeah, but by the time I got $100 billion, I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine.
It'll all blow over.
I'd make COVID disappear with that $100 billion. That's what I do.
Yeah, yeah. Urban farming. Like trying to like bring like local produce to, the biggest cities in the world. Like have like big towers just full of like hydroponics, like growing tomatoes. What?
What does it say on the YouTube?
On the YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not live, so it's not going to pop
gotcha.
up on YouTube.
Gotcha. I don't know what that said.
Yeah, for those who don't, we have I have a couple of screens open and I'm navigating stuff with my phone. But yeah, it's not live. This is a pre-record, so.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I just wanted to make sure because I just wasn't sure because of the.
Let's go live again.
Anyways,
hundreds of billions of dollars. I probably wouldn't go to. I mean, I think the space thing is interesting, but I would probably want to look into other technological advances that would help.
Can I go on an underwater cruise, like in a submarine?
Ooh,
that'd be cool. I don't know if that's a thing.
With huge glass windows, so you could actually like, see the whales underwater.
Yeah. I speak
whale.
The dolphins kind of freak me out.
Yeah, they're aliens.
Yeah.
Just like horses, they're aliens.
Go find the mermaids.
At least that's my find the mermaids.
If I had $100 billion, honestly, yeah, I think my first thought would be like, Mom, Dad, sister, here's some money. And the rest of it, I'd probably just buy a decent sized house.
Let me pay off your house. Let me pay off your mortgage. Pay off your cars.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about bills anymore.
Yeah.
Gosh, that would free up so much time. Like, I don't think people really realize how much time consumption in just not only like your day-to-day like 9 to 10 or 9 to 10 your 9 to 5 job plus like all the stresses and the anxieties that you have around that job. Like how much time is wasted just on I have to do this in order to take care of my day-to-day like needs. Like how that would free up so much time and energy that you could put elsewhere. I think I would do a lot of research. Like I would probably sit in front of my computer and waste hours and days of time just learning.
Yeah. I think, my first trip backpacking in Tibet.
Ooh.
The Himalayas. Do you imagine like going for a backpacking trip up there? Oh my God.
Learn some magic from the Shaolin monks.
Like hike to their temples and be like, all right, teach me something. help me learn how to be
let's go, buddy.
No, not
teach
like
me,
that.
Teach me the ways.
Help me learn ways like humbled me, essentially. Help me learn.
Oh yeah.
Like just teach me something. Like yeah.
Give me the
life,
ways of life in the universe.
Give me a mental life hack in which I can use for the rest of my life.
Why don't we just put computer chips in your brain? Like you have the money for it.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, just put computer chips in your brain. You can surf the internet and you can just see it like in your retina. Like there's a computer screen in there.
Yeah, but wisdom from experience teaches me more than wisdom from the computer. So I mean, like, there's a little bit more magic in one than there is in the other.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, like urban farming sounds really interesting. People who have the space like in their backyards and like space around their homes to actually like be like, hey, here's a kit so you can cultivate your own like vegetables and like grow your own, raise your own livestock and stuff. Like let's teach people how to be more self-reliant with, living off of the land that's around them.
I would love to open an animal sanctuary.
No, there you go.
I would love to do that. Kind of like it, like down in Kanab. That wouldn't open Kanab. I'd love to open one up like in the woods, like up in Colorado or something.
That's Best Friends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would love to open up a place. Yeah, I would love to open up a place like in Colorado and like bring rescue dogs or like
3-legged horses and cats with no legs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Just a place for-
joking, but essentially, yeah, they take in a lot of like animals that are hurt, or
Make sure
you know,
make sure I got the best damn doctors around for the best veterinarians to take care of those animals. I mean,
dude, have like a legit like team of doctors like always on call for your health.
oh yeah,
Like
I've got my own insurance.
the best of the best of the best.
Got my own health insurance going on here.
Oh yeah, let me just talk to my team of doctors, and
I would
I can
probably
get my protocol for a common cold.
I would want my life to get set up as much as possible, but I also know that I would probably get bored after a while. At that point, I would probably like either continue to do more traveling, or I would probably like do some volunteer work at like animal shelters. I would love to do stuff like that. Just because like I don't do it now because it's like I got to make a paycheck. I got to go to school. I got to fulfill my relationships. Like
Yeah.
Granted, if I had that money, I hope I wouldn't let it go to my head to where those relationships wouldn't fail anyway. But
I feel like you would do really well.
I would hope so anyway.
I think so.
I feel like I would have to. Oh man, I couldn't do that. I would love to give that money to like a trusted friend and be like, "Don't let me use this," and then they end up using all of it.
They end up using it on blowing hookers. I'm just kidding. Like where I'm at with my life right now, like I know like my body only has so much time before I'm not going to be able to do a lot of physical things. And so that's part, I mean that's, I love writing and I love doing these podcasts, but there is another underlying reason that I'm doing it. And it's because I'm getting older. Like I'm going to be turning 40, bro.
Yeah, you're old.
The big 40 in May. So part of me is like, I need to figure out how to set myself up so that in the next 3 to 5 years, I don't have to like go run around and like deliver packages. I don't have to like lift stuff or, you know, or worry and deal with a lot of like these employers out here that just are terrible. Although my boss is really cool, so I'm not, you know, too concerned about that. But
that's good.
I really do want to build something where, you know, I can employ people and have a good living off of it. You know what I'm saying?
Jobs.
Yeah. And I think it would just be really cool to be a part of that, where I have like my own business, whether, you know, writing and publishing my stories and doing actually, I would love to do this podcast. Ideally, if I could quit my job today and I'm making what I'm making now and I could start doing the podcast, I could reasonably do the podcast 3 to 5 days a week. Like easy. Well, maybe 4 days a week. I don't know. Somewhere between 3 and 5 days feels really good for me. Just because I feel like, especially with all the free time of actually focusing and like doing more research and looking up more articles and thinking about like other things we can talk about, I really feel like it would just make the podcast just like even better because there's actually more time going into it. Like
your full-time job is
your full-time job is like, doing a couple hours of research and then talking about it for a couple hours.
Yeah. Well, because that's what I was saying earlier is like, if I would want to make sure like this is like the only thing that we had to do.
Like it would legit be awesome. Like we'd spend like 4 hours each day doing research and then doing the podcast for 2 or 3 hours. And then after that we could, I don't know, live stream or, you know, I could write. Like I really would like to get to the point where I can do the stuff that I love to do because I'm a creative, meaning that I feel more fulfilled when I'm doing creative things. And so if it's not building a world and like running, you know, really interesting characters through through different scenarios in a novel, or if it's just talking about interesting things that's going on in our world, in our lives. I think it's really interesting that I had a ton of links that I looked up stuff on Monday, and out of all the links that I looked up, like 3 or 4 of them were, I think, politically driven, and then like the ones that I decided to do were not politically driven. And that's because I don't know. I think I get really, because it's so polarizing right now. It's so divisive. It's so it's me versus them. It's just really hard to get into politics. And so that's why I really like to only focus on the issues, because the political part just makes me angry and mad. But I really feel like I can level with somebody and really have a conversation if it's just about the issues.
Yeah.
But even then, the issues are, the sides are like really polarizing. And it triggers people if you have one view or the other, and it's really interesting. It feels like everything's kind of split down the middle, and like there's like the right and the left, and it seems like most people are on either of those sides, and of course varying degrees, and there's this like small sliver that's kind of like in the middle. And then my dogs are barking in the background while I'm trying to do a podcast.
No, but
No,
so it's like, I am not a black and white thinker at all. You guys know this.
Yeah.
So it's like,
because everything has shades of gray.
Yeah.
Like nothing's all or nothing. We've talked about this many times. There's good and bad aspects when it comes to abortion. There's good and bad aspects when it comes to immigration. There's good and bad aspects when it comes to name the topic. We can always find good and bad things in almost any topic you can talk about, or substance, or issue.
So it's kind of like abortion comes up a lot, especially like lately, like the whole
the new Texas law that got passed.
Right. So that topic comes up all the time, especially like it's brought up a lot in my criminal justice class. Like we'll talk about it all the time. Like should this be allowed? Like, are you quote pro-life?
I don't even like those kind of labels, because again, it's just like, well, it's black and white. Either you're pro-choice or you're pro-life.
It's like,
it's
it's definitely like, not. There's circumstances in which like there's so many.
Case.
Yeah, exactly. It's a case by case thing. There are circumstances around the entire situation. Like every single thing is different. Yeah. Like, yeah.
and it's really interesting that we haven't really gotten tribalistic really yet, but we definitely have our teams that we're rooting for. It seems like as a whole. I'm talking about like the human race here, specifically in America. It seems like people have their teams. We have the 49ers and the Chicago Bears. And so some people are like, yeah, Chicago Bears, screw 49ers. And the 49ers are like, yeah, 49ers, screw the Chicago Bears. And it's like, and another thing too is that it seems like everybody's on board with exactly what the right thinks, and if they're on the right side, and the people on the left only think the way that the people on the left think. And it's like, why can't people think for themselves? Why can't they just be like, oh, well, I'm a Republican, because all the things that the Republicans say, I believe. And it's like, do you really?
Are you sure?
Oh, I'm a Democrat.
Because some of y'all
Democrats say, I believe. And it's like,
see, I just look at both parties.
Really?
I just look at both parties, and I'm just like, y'all are a bunch of clowns. Neither of you are willing to admit when there's a room for like learning or improvement on either side.
Right.
And it's like,
and there's zero compromise.
There's wisdom everywhere. You just got to listen to it. Like, yeah. Like there are things on the right side that it's like, yeah, that makes sense. There are also things on the left side where it's like, that also makes sense. There are things on both sides where it's like, y'all are kind of dumb.
Yeah. Like they have this weird, like, small percentage of people that are liberals, or, the more fascist side of it, which is libertarians, I believe, where it's almost like socialistic beliefs. It's like a very, very small group. And then there's all of us normies on the outside going, what the crap is going on? Because we're just like looking at it and we're just like, well, there's some things that we could both agree on, and we can all agree to disagree on some of these other things.
Yeah.
You know, where can we meet in the middle? And it's just like, no, you got to either believe this way or that way. And you're just like, can't we believe the third option or fourth, fifth, sixth option? No, got to play for a side. And that's the interesting thing is like, if you ever get into a political talk with anybody, it's just like, oh, well, you're Republican? It's just like, no.
Like some of us have conservative, like some of them have, there are people on the left that have conservative beliefs.
Right.
There are people on the right that have more liberal beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, yes, perfect, amazing, do your thing. But that's why, like, I can't claim a party. I really can't, because, like,
yeah, it probably,
I don't feel comfortable leaning on either side and, like, firmly believing I am on this side and this is where I lean. Because it's like, well, there are things on the left side where it's like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can get behind that. And then, but yeah, so, like, the party I'm registered under right now is just the Green Party because, like, you know, environmentalism, and we support that. But it's like, what does that have to do with politics? I guess it does have a lot to do, but I mean,
yeah,
still.
Oh gosh, what's his name that really pushed the whole climate change thing?
I don't know.
Al Gore was his name, I think, where it was like this big, huge politicalization. There you go. Politicalization of environmental, like, politics. Like, the environment was like all politics now, and now, like, politics, like in this day and age, is like immigration and apparently racism, which I don't believe. LGBTQ rights, which they have the same rights that any other American has. So it's kind of like, what are you talking about? You have rights. So it's just like, you have all these things going on, and pretty much, I mean, this is me in my tinfoil hat, I kind of feel like it's a smokescreen to kind of get people riled up and get people upset and angry and triggered, I think is the cool word right now, so that the real things that are going on in the world are being unseen. Like, kind of like they kind of hear about it a little bit, but it kind of fades in the background because another white cop shoots a black kid, or Joe Biden messes up, you know, pulling people out of Afghanistan, which, I mean, it's a pretty big deal, but there's a lot of other bad, darker things that are happening in the background, it seems.
Yeah. There's always something.
There's always something. But anyways, space, man.
I know we went from space to money to politics.
You know, but privatize space. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if it got to the point in our day and age where we're old and gray and we're pooping our pants in an old folks' home?
Back in my day, we sat on a couch on the microphones.
Well, I knew back out east where they used to mine coal out of the ground. Now we go up in them little spaceships and we build it all off of them asteroids.
Okay, but have you seen, like, size comparisons of, like, asteroids compared to just, like, anything? Like, how big an asteroid actually is?
Yeah, they're absolutely gargantuan. Like, miles, you know, wide. And
like, there was a comparison of, like, this is what LA looks like. This is what an asteroid looks like. And the asteroid is significantly larger.
Yeah.
Like...
I mean, luckily we have a lot of other planets with larger gravitational pulls that protect a lot of the bigger stuff, which is really good. I know Jupiter kind of swallows up a lot of the big ones that could potentially destroy our world.
Like the ones that could actually make a significant impact and potentially like end
Wipe
an entire
out the-
country.
Yeah, well, it could potentially wipe out the whole human race. I mean, some of these things are bigger than Texas, and Texas is the largest state in America. If a Texas side asteroid, like, just all of a sudden, like right into the earth, it would literally end all human life on that side of the earth.
Yeah.
Quite literally. So, I mean, whether Jesus comes and we all get taken up, or an asteroid hits us and ends us, something's gonna bound to happen. I mean,
Oh, dude, have you ever seen Knowing?
knowing.
Nicolas Cage movie.
Sounds familiar. Was it
about,
any
like-
good? I don't know. There wasn't too many Nicolas Cage movies I liked.
I know.
I liked
So, like,
Con Air, Family Man, one of my
okay,
favorites.
so
Sorry, go ahead.
the concept is actually pretty good. Execution, whatever. But like,
That always happens. That's sad.
I know.
Like
It was
Chaos
actually-
Walking.
I will
Great
say,
idea, but poorly executed. Go ahead.
haven't seen it yet. I will say, like, I liked the movie. I liked it myself, just like as an like something to sit down and watch. I thought it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
But it's about like this time capsule that's pulled up in this kid's elementary class. Yeah, like a time capsule is buried, and 50 years later, this elementary school class digs it up, and this kid gets a paper with it's like, all the kids get all these papers with like pictures of what those kids back then thought the future was going to look like. So these kids are
Aw.
getting pictures of like cars, rockets, like all these like these crazy futuristic stuff. And this one kid gets like a paper that just has a bunch of numbers on it.
Oh, I think maybe I did see that.
Yeah, and then like the dad, who's Nicolas Cage, gets this paper and he analyzes it and finds that all the numbers are dates,
Right. Of like significant
like of tragic events
that are going to be happening in the future.
Yeah, and they all lead to the end of the world. Yeah.
I do remember that.
Like I said, great concept. Like I enjoyed
Poorly
the movie.
executed.
Yeah.
It was a bad movie. Great idea, but it didn't turn out.
I liked the movie. I thought it was enjoyable to sit down. Not something that I would like watch over and over again.
Right.
But like something that I would put on and be like, huh, that was interesting. Something that I'd have to be like kind of stoned.
Yeah,
Don't want-
probably.
Like, sorry, Mom.
Me and Mary Jane, we're going to take a trip.
I know.
Me and my buddy. Yeah. Well, whatever's going to happen, you know, I'm just going to live my life the best I can, try to be the best person that I can for myself and for
Now we're at the end of
others.
the world kind of shit.
Yeah, I mean, if it's going to come, it's going to come. I mean,
That's what she said. Sorry, I declare bankruptcy.
yeah, I declare bankruptcy. Yeah. I still didn't. It still is fascinating to me. Like, I honestly like watching. Sorry, going back to SpaceX and
Yep.
all that stuff. But the inspiration for and watching this documentary, it seriously feels like I'm watching some sci-fi documentary, like from the past.
Whoa, that's a way to put it.
Like it's really interesting. It feels like when I watch it, I'm like, is this really happening, or is this just like a funky like movie that I'm watching? But no. Is this just fantasy caught in a landslide? No escape from reality. Oh, Warner Brothers, please don't demonetize my. Well, we can't even monetize yet. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching another episode of the Periodic Review. Hopefully, you will become a better human being today than you were yesterday. And from our families to yours, good night.
Bye.
Bye.